Welcome back to Always in Pursuit. My name is Ray, and today I want to start off a two-part series on why people don't want to lead, and then next week I'll talk more about should you make them lead, and are you addressing their concerns about leading. This week, because there's a lot to unpack, I want to talk about why people don't want to lead. This is coming from a conversation I had with a former soldier of mine, and he's been recommended for promotion, but doesn't want to attend the board. And some people just don't want to attend the board, and some people don't want to get promoted. So I want to kind of talk about that because there's actually outside of the Army there was a study done with 400 MBA students, and I'll link that below. But I wanted to talk about the reasons why those MBA students didn't necessarily want to take a leadership role, because I think it directly applies to a lot of our soldiers. And so there's three big things, which is interpersonal risk, image risk, and the risk of being blamed. So those are the three big reasons why people don't want to take leadership roles. So with interpersonal risk, really the big thing is the fear of leadership harming interpersonal relationships. And according to that study, that was one of the more consistent themes that was found throughout all of the surveys. And I think the Army gets this one wrong. Personally, just because I've seen over the years how, and this happened to me too, how you get promoted and you're still with the same peer group per se. So especially for especially getting to the sergeant position where you're at your first duty station, you're on the back half of your first duty station, or you're in the beginning of your second duty station. And you've made friends and you have good peers, and then you go from E4 to E5, you're a sergeant now, and now you're still with the same folks. And sometimes, being with those same folks is not helpful because you're trying to figure out where the line is, where to draw the line as a leader and as a former peer, and even as probably people that you still hang out with on the weekends. The second part is the image risk. And these all kind of play into each other. So the image risk is that others might think badly of them, this is also a common thing. So one of the quotes from the study is, "I don't want to seem like I know it all," and it can come across a little bit aggressive, maybe to the rest of the team members. So even though the organizations and employees generally, they have good leadership, or people generally claim to admire their leaders, people actually worry that engaging in those leadership acts might make them look bad in front of their peers. And again, this goes back to knowing them, right? Because they need to be able to balance between, the outside life and then what's going on at work. So in terms of image risk, right, people don't want people to think badly of them because they're taking a leadership position. So whenever, like I said, whenever somebody takes that leadership role and they're around people that they've known for a while and that they hang out with often, there's going to have to be a line drawn, and because they have a mission to accomplish, and they have to accomplish what's asked of them by their leadership. Which if their subordinates, are their friends in the off time, how is it going to affect their relationship? So a lot of times junior leaders don't necessarily want to risk that, and so this is where I think it's important that the Army. Or that we as leaders in general, we move them to a different location so that they're not put in that kind of predicament. And the third risk is the risk of being blamed. So one of the things found was that people didn't want to be personally responsible for a collective failure. Now, this can be a terrifying thing for junior leaders because they're trying to establish credibility, and they don't really have a lot, especially as the junior leader, and especially as a new leader. So whenever they're trying to establish credibility, any type of failure that they see is going to be, it's not something that they're going to want to risk, especially at the expense of, of losing the confidence of their soldiers. So next week, I want to talk about why you should or shouldn't make them lead. And then also, are you addressing their concerns about leading? So until then, I look forward to seeing you again next week, and hope you have a happy Easter, and hope your weekend goes well and you enjoy time with your family. And until then, remain always in pursuit.